Good afternoon. FreeSpirit Fabrics here with the Inspired by FreeSpirit Fabrics. We are here to share with you this beautiful quilt. I'm Sharon Thornton. I'm here, and Sarah Asby is here with me. Sarah's behind the camera. We have Robin Long from Robin Ruth Design who will be joining us shortly. But we wanted to share this quilt with you. So this is called the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. And we have this quilt available to purchase now, and what a gorgeous quilt this is. Now we unfortunately do not have a physical quilt, so we're going to be showing you a lot of things virtually, but we're hoping that you'll be able to imagine it in all its beauty for when we do have it made in fabric. But right now, so this is a virtual image of the quilt, and Robin will tell you more. I'm just going to share a little bit about this. This quilt is made with the skinny Robin ruler. And you can make two centers, which I'll let Robin talk about. There are two different centers that you could make, but this is a 32-point piece, Mariner's Compass. And what a pretty quilt. I mean, this is a great quilt. Look at the beautiful colors in it. Robin did a wonderful job designing this quilt. This is an Adrienne Leban's fabric. And this is it's called Bio-Geo 3. And this fabric is just beautiful, and we want to show you all of the strike-offs for this. So Robin will be in shortly to talk about the gorgeous quilt here and tell you a little bit about what, her inspiration to make it. And meanwhile, we want to show you some of the strike-offs for this. So I'm going to put this over here. Yeah. Okay, so Sarah and I are switching positions. So what these are that we're about to show you, these are strike-offs. So strike-offs are pieces of fabric that we get from the mill, and our design team checks out all the details of all these fabrics before we go into production. So this is all we have to show you, but we know that being the creatives that you are, you'll be able to imagine this gorgeous fabric when it comes in this beautiful quilt kit. So I think what's interesting about these fabrics here, so this one is called Blue Hydrangea. Very, very pretty blue. Look at the depth in this. I mean, it's just the coloration is so beautiful. And what's really nice is these next colors here. Sarah, if you could just show them a little bit more here. A lot of these fabrics read like solids. So we showed you the Blue Hydrangea was the first one. This next one here is Lemon Lime. A lemon lime, but look at, you've got the swirl, you've got the design. It really reads like a solid. I know it's not a solid, it's not a solid, but it reads like a solid in a quilt. And this one here is called Orange Peel. Look at that. You've got the highs, the lows in coloration. It's very pretty. There's a lot of movement in these pieces. And then we get the different scales as well. And this one is called Blueberry. Really beautiful. Oh, Blueberry Twist. Oh, Blueberry Twist. This one is called Pumpkin Flip.
Plum flip.
I can't read. I can't read today, everybody. Plum Flip. Beautiful coloration here as well. Look how nice it plays with the one next to it. So here, let me turn this. You don't have that white. Look how beautiful those both play off of each other. And that one's called Fuchsia Flow that's sitting right next to it. So this one right here. And this one, I mean, look how pretty they look together. And then this next one coming up, this is a white on white. I mean, who can't use a white on white? I love having this just in my stash. I don't know how well that can be seen. We're casting a shadow right now on it. I don't know why, but we are. But this is a white on white. And again, this is a great stash builder if for no other reason, but put this in any quilt in the background. It just adds a lot more depth, to any project you might be working on. So love that. Now we move into some of Adrienne's colors here, designs that have a lot more color in them that are also in this collection. And this is called Fun House, this particular one. And then the next one is called Splash. Look at the blues. So she's introduced, there's some black in that last one Sarah just showed you in Fun House. And this one in Splash is a lot more black in it, but we're picking up some of the other colors that we just showed you in those other fabrics. Look how beautiful that is. Let me turn this one back. You can see the next one. It's called Splash and Raspberry. And then again, you get, the blacks in here, and then this one sitting next to it is all black and white. This is called Stone Frolic in black. Isn't that pretty? I mean, there's so much that could be done with that fabric alone, never mind with all the others that are here. And I just want to flip it back, Sarah, so they can see it. So when you look at them next to each other, you can see how nicely they play together. And then come back this way, you can see the black again. So when she shows you all of these lined up, the splash in Sea Splash, and then the splash in Raspberry and the Stone Frolic all play nicely together. They all move back over here to Funhouse. They still work over here. And then all of the solids that we had shown you in the beginning here all play beautifully with all of those. I still have a couple others to show you, but I just want to kind of bring you back so that you can see them all. Again, these are our strike-offs, but this is pre-production, but it gives you a very nice, view of what this collection is going to be. And then this last one, which is pretty magnificent, is called Dream and Vivid. And what's great about this one is, well, it's much larger scale. It's got the black and white in it. You can see all the colors in it. All the other fabrics that we just showed you play beautifully with this. There's a lot of white down in here. We've got, the white on white, and the other fabric that we already showed you that's in the collection is now back reintroduced into this piece. And again, the collection just plays off of one another. It's very nicely designed. This is Adrienne Leban, and beautifully done. Bio-Geo 3. This is a quilt that Robin's going to show you the kit momentarily. And then last but not least is this piece. And this is a 108-inch quilt back. It's white on white. Again, as makers, we love white on white. This is, for those that don't want to put color in the back of a quilt, or in fact you do, it's fine if you do, but if you don't, this is a beautiful, tone on tone, white on white. Adds a lot of interest. You turn the quilt back and you still have a design to look at. So it's really beautiful. And this is called Ice Frolic. That's the name of this design. And basically all it is the white that's in the collection is just blown up. So it's the same design, it's just blown up to a much larger scale. And like I said, this is a 108-inch quilt back. So this collection is delivering in October of this upcoming year. So if you are interested in this collection, I would recommend that you reach out to your local quilt shop and tell them that you just saw the Adrienne Leban, her Bio-Geo 3 collection on the FreeSpirit Inspired By, and tell the shop that you would like them to order it in, because you would definitely like to get some of this. And again, great stash builders if for no other reason. But we have a better reason. We have Robin Ruth of Robin Long Design here, and she is going to talk to us about the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. So without further ado, I'm going to switch us over to Robin. And welcome, Robin.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
We're so happy to have you here with us today. And we are thrilled to have you join us to talk to us about the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. And I hope that, I know you haven't seen the fabric either. I know that you saw the JPEGs and designed the quilt, obviously. Did this inspire you?
Yeah, no, that's what I was just going to say. It was so fun to see those fabrics in real life and to see how really beautiful they're going to be when they get into that quilt. So, and before I forget, just because I know we're going to be talking about the top side of the quilt, but that backing, that white on white backing, that is gorgeous.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, there's some beautiful pieces in this collection, and, lots of reasons to buy. It's very nice, very nicely done. Adrienne did a great job, and our design team here works with Adrienne. They always do a beautiful job as well. So between everyone collaborating, it's a very nice collection. But we would like for you to talk to us about the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit, because
well, I've been a fan of Adrienne's for a long time. So she had some previous collections with you guys that I had designed a quilt for. So when I first saw her fabrics, I just fell in love with them. They just are so, they're geometric, but she would say they're nature inspired. She also calls them biological. They're just very undulating, the patterns and things. And I just love the color. And especially in this collection, all of those tone on tone, like you said, they read like solids, but they have movement to them. And so when I first was looking at the collection and trying to, you know, come up with a design, you know, just the way that they're moving and stuff, I thought of, you know, a spiraling kind of design. And that's where I came up with the Geo-Gyre. And a gyre is really just a spiral or a vortex. And it also talks about, if you look up the definition, oceanic currents, which you can kind of see in the fabric. And so I do mariner's compasses, which kind of has something to do with the ocean. So I wanted to do kind of a winding gyre to make this quilt. So that's where the idea came from. And it was really fun to design with these fabrics.
Well, you did a beautiful job, Robin. And as you know, we absolutely love this, which is why we kitted this. And I just wanted, before you tell us all about it, I just want to let everybody know that if you're interested in buying this kit, reach out to your local quilt shop, let them know that you are interested in buying this kit. And, you know, they still have time. The cutoff to order is May 15th. You know, it's coming, a couple of weeks.
And we should tell everybody too, Sharon, that this is actually going to be a sew along on my website that people can join. So if people purchase the kit, then they can also come to my website. It's a $15 fee, but you would get the video tutorials to make the whole quilt right along with me. So
awesome.
great support for the shops, for their customers that might want to make this quilt, right? That they can send them there to get the tutorials.
Yes, thank you for telling us about that, because you're right. I mean, you know, it'd be great. We'll be making the quilt with you.
Yeah.
We can't be with you, but we'll be with you.
Yeah. And I just think it's such a great modern design that, well, the fabrics are modern. And then I just think it's just kind of a different quilt that could, you know, there's a lot of people that are hard to make quilts for. I think it'd be a good guy quilt or just something more modern, or something that you might want to even put up on a wall.
Be a great statement piece in your home.
Yeah.
Whether it be on a bed or on a wall, it's a beautiful piece.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, what I'd like to do maybe is just take a minute and just show you a little bit about what I do and a little bit, some of the elements that are in this quilt.
That would be perfect. We'd love to know more.
Okay, so I think I'll share my screen here. Got just a little keynote that I can just, give me 1 second here so I can. So what you're looking at now, can you see that, Sharon?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. So the centerpiece to this quilt is a mariner's compass block. And so what I do is I have come up with these rulers for a strip pieced mariner's compass block. So these are my 2 basic rulers. The block in this quilt in the Geo-Gyre is the skinny, which is the one that's on the left, the blue book with the ruler there. I do 2 styles regularly, but this one is just going to be the skinny, but I'm just showing you that I have 2 styles. They make compass blocks exactly the same way. You just end up with a little different look when you're done. So the skinny is on the left and fat is on the right. So these are traditional mariner's compass blocks. Made the same way again, they're just based on different angles. So the skinny's based on a 45-degree angle and the fat on a 60-degree angle, which are angles we use all the time in quilting. So nothing new here. You can make 16 sizes with my rulers. That's why you see all the lines on there. So any block in my system, you can make in 16 sizes. And it is a modern technique. It's a strip piecing technique. This just kind of gives you a visual overview of how you start with strips and then add them through the process. I don't expect anybody to memorize this. I'm just trying to give you an idea. And I tell people it's as easy as pie. And so you see the skinny pie there on the left. That's the basic building unit for making the block that is in this quilt. And so once you learn the technique to make that pie unit, you've learned my whole sort of technique. And I'm going to demo this in just a second once we get through these slides. So the actual block that is in the quilt, there's actually two versions. You can do a 16 point or a 32 point, and it is a compass sunflower. So on the left, you see the skinny sunflower. So I'm going to show you that and kind of demo that first, just so you understand the process. And then I'll then show you how that can be turned into a 32 point block. So you can kind of choose whether you want to do a 16 point or a 32. So this is just a 1-minute overview of how the block actually goes together. These are not my video tutorials. This is just meant to be an overview, but it does help you to see how the process, my method, and my rulers work. So I'll kind of walk you through this. It's going to go quick, so hang with me. Every block you start with 2 strips and sew them together, and then we're going to cut them apart at a 45-degree angle to get 8 units. You'll take a regular straight edge. You're going to cut off, I call that the background triangle, and you save it for a minute. Now you're going to use my ruler to make 2 cuts, the bottom and the top. You're just choosing the one line on each side of that kite for your size, and I will demo this in person in a minute. Now we take those triangles we cut off, sew them back on, and we already have pie. You've learned my whole method. So now we're just going to kind of repeat. We're going to sew all 8 of those pies on the next strip, cut them apart. You're going to use my ruler again, make those same 2 cuts. So all 8, you just turn it around and use the other kite, but the ruler works the same way to make those 2 cuts. Those go on the last strip. And then basically we're going to cut them apart on both sides, kind of flush. And then we'll sew those 8 units together. And you have your compass sunflower block.
Wow.
So that's the basic technique. And the ruler just helps you to keep really accurate. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So that's just a quick overview. So here is the Geo-Gyre in that 16-point compass sunflower block. One thing I did a little different for this, and it'll talk about it in the pattern and in the tutorials, is I changed up one of the points. So the pink and the blue are going to alternate, whereas in a regular block, those would all be one color, but I alternated those to make it a little more jazzy. And then this one is the 32-point version. So you can see there's a whole nother 16 points added to this one. I think this one is really spectacular if you're wanting to tackle a 32-point block. And again, I'll show you the differences here in just a second. If you do the 32-point version, you'll also need my 32-point book and ruler. So it's just another book and ruler. That kite C on that little ruler makes the extra 16 points to take your 16-point blocks to 32. And then this, I just wanted to show quickly while I had this. So if you're interested in the tutorials, this is my website. If you look on the bottom left where it says member sew-alongs, that's where you would go. And then you can see there, you sign up for $15 to get the tutorials for making that quilt. And they won't be up right away. They will be up when the kits come out in October. So anyway, you can look forward to that as well. So that is kind of just a little overview.
Robin, I just want to, I was just going to ask, it was great to see both those quilts sitting next to each other, to see the difference in the center blocks.
Do you want to go back to those?
Yeah, do you mind just popping it up?
Sorry, I got out of there too quick, but
No, that's quite all right. So I think, so on the right-hand side, that's the 16 point.
Yes.
And then the 32 point is on the left.
Correct.
So that's the only difference between the 2 quilts is that center block.
It's just
but otherwise, right, it's exactly the same. And Those fabrics look really beautiful, and you designed this quilt so magnificently.
Yeah, well, and while we're looking at it this way too, so the other fabric I wanted to talk about was that dream fabric. That's the goes in that outside border,
Yes.
which is
Gorgeous.
really fun. It looks like kind of like clouds billowing, I think, in a way. And so in for this kit, it'll get fussy cut, so it kind of comes out that way. But really fun fabric to work with.
Yeah, looks really beautiful.
So let me change cameras again here, and then I'll show you in real life, maybe. All right, can you see my board now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So first of all, before I show you these, so this is the Skinny Robin book, just so you have a little chance to see it. This is the block. It's in the second chapter, and you can see I have really great illustrations in the book that are just going to walk you through the whole technique. So that's what the book looks like, and here is what the ruler looks like. And I'm going to show you this in action here in just a minute. But I just wanted to sort of show you in real life so you can see really how easy this block goes together once you understand my method. So if we start here with the unit, so this was 2 strips of fabric that were sewn together and then cut apart at a 45-degree angle. So you make 8 of these. 8 of these will make your 8 pies. So basically what you do is just chop those up. So you cut off the background triangle. You make 2 cuts with my ruler, and I'll do this in real life in a minute. I just want to kind of give you an overview. So we'll get rid of these, and then this triangle gets sewn right back on the other side to create our pie unit. So again, that's really, you sort of learn the technique. Once you make your 8 pies, those are going to get added to another strip and cut apart. You'll make those 2 cuts again with my ruler. So now we have 8 of these units. Those get added to the last strip and then cut apart flush. And then you just sew these 8 units together. And by matching this seam here, you're going to get a perfect circle to your block. So when you're all done sewing it together, the raw block is going to look something like this.
Wow.
So, and again, in the Geo-Gyre, we're going to alternate so it won't be all blue. So these 4 points will be one color, and then these 4 points will be another, which will make it kind of even more fun. But I just want to talk about this raw block really quick, just to kind of, so you have a better understanding as well. So it's kind of wonky around the outside, and you don't have to worry about matching anything ever. You just know that I've built extra room out here beyond the finished points for finishing. The block for our quilt is going to be appliqued on. So basically we'll take a piece of freezer paper, a circle, and iron it onto the back, and you just fold the edge around that freezer paper, and then it's ready to applique onto our project. And then you're going to notice there's a hole in the middle of the block. So all my blocks have a hole. It makes it easier for your block to lay flat from the get-go, as opposed to having all those seams try to meet in the middle. And then to fill that hole, I just have a really simple facing technique that I use for my centers. So you would take your fabric, and I use a non-fusible interfacing and put them right sides together. I have a freezer paper template. This will come in the pattern. It also comes in the book, but I'll put it in the pattern. That gets ironed on the back, and then you sew as close as you can to the freezer paper without sewing on it. So then once you take the freezer paper, you can see we've got a circle there. You just trim that to about 1/8 of an inch, slit the back and turn it. And now, get these out of the way, we have a nice stable circle, right? That those edges aren't going to flip out. It's going to stay nice and round until we get it into our project.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so then I just want to talk to you really briefly about the 32 points. So if you want to make the 32 point, really the only difference is that you're going to start with 8 what I call little pies. So these little pies, right, are out in between these points. So you start with your 16 little pies, and those are made with this smaller ruler that make the little pies. Once you make the little pies, then the construction is just exactly the same as a 16 point. And then you have this.
Wow.
So that is with the 32 points, and you get your center in there, and that's
Wow.
the theme of that block. So
Very
I want
nice.
to show you just really quick how to make the cuts with my ruler, and then I'll show you, then I want to show you those wedge units
Mhm.
for the Geo-Gyre quilt, how easy those are going to be. It's going to be a really fun quilt to put together. I can hardly wait for the fabric, but I just want to show you really quick how my rulers work, because a lot of people that they want to see it in action. So once you've got your units, right, we had 8 of them, then we're going to chop it up. So the first thing we're going to do is cut off the background triangle. And to do that, instead of just going from the top here, this point to this point, I need to take this seam allowance into account. So I'm just going to slide it over. So I've got the 1/4 inch line at the top of the seam and the edge of the ruler on the opposite point. This is going to give me a triangle that's isosceles, so it's the same on both sides here, okay? That's going to be set aside to get sewn on. All right, now how my ruler works. So we're going to start with kite B. Briefly, this is just really quick. It's split in 2. You can see there's a line down the middle. Solid lines on one side, dashed lines on the other. Solid lines go on seam lines, dashed lines go on raw edges. That's just something to know. So the first thing you need to know is what size block. I cut strips for an 18-inch block. So the first cut is left and low. I look left and low. I find the 18, it's a solid line, and I put it on the seam line. The dashed line that's at the bottom of the kite, you just pull that down so that it's flush with the unit. And then this is going to be our first cut. The second cut, high and right, we find our 18 on the right-hand side. We pull the ruler down until that 18 dash line hits the raw edge where we just cut that unit off. Put the side of the kite on the seam, center line on the point. That's our second cut. That's how the ruler works all the time to make those 2 cuts. It never changes. The only thing that changes is your size of block. So that triangle on the other side, and again, we have our pie unit. So that's how my ruler works in a very quick overview. I've got video tutorials on my website as well that you can access anytime to make any of my blocks. But let's talk about the construction of the quilt. So here's just, I did a little line drawing up so people could see how the quilt goes together kind of. So you see the block. So we've talked about the compass block in the middle. And then really it's just these wedge units that radiate out beyond the compass. And there's 5 squares in each wedge plus an end unit. So all the templates will come in the book or in the pattern, excuse me. But basically the wedges, I'm going to have you cut strips of fabric first. And then from those strips, you're going to cut rectangles. And then the rectangles are just going to get sewn together. You'll just center them and sew them together. I don't know if you can quite see the whole thing here. Once they get sewn together, I'll show it on the side here. Right, so now I've got my whole unit sewn together. Once it's sewn together, there'll be a template that comes in the pattern that you make out of freezer paper. The lines, you line them right up on the seams, you press that down, the freezer paper presses right on there, and then you just trim it flush with the freezer paper. And, well, I lost my train of thought. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right underneath, sorry. There we go, right in front of me. So then you just trim it and you've got these wedge units. Then once you get that part done, then there's just 4 different shapes and it'll just, as you can see, these little corner pieces out here. And I just have them in freezer paper. I haven't added them. So you would add whichever shape that it calls for in the pattern, right, to finish your wedge unit. And once you've got those together, then you just sew those wedges together to make the square. After that, it's just a little inside border, an outside border, and you're done. So that, in a nutshell, is Geo-Gyre. And I think, like I said, it's going to be a fun quilt to put together. And the colors are going to be amazing now that I've seen the fabrics in real life.
Mm-hmm. Well, Robin, that's wonderful. Thank you for showing us all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I think so amazing about your ruler is, to, make a mariner's compass is a challenge in and of itself, but then to have a ruler that, makes it seamless, achievable, not frustrating in the end, right? You've made all your points. I mean, that's great. I love your method. Your quilts are amazing. And, we strongly encourage anyone who's watching to definitely sign up for the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. You have to reach out to your local quilt shop, let them know that you're interested in buying this. And if you are a quilt shop and you're watching, you need to get in touch with your rep and let them know that you are interested in the kit and that you want to bring in the collection as well.
I think anybody who's been interested in my rulers, have seen them, and they're just been maybe afraid to try them, this would be a really great way to get started with them, because it's just a one block in the middle, and we'll have tutorials for all of that. And then the rest of the construction, I think, will just be a fun method to make that gyre.
Right. No, I think even when I was watching, excuse me, when I was watching you do it, if you haven't done a mariner's compass before, this is definitely achievable, right? Yes. You dip your toe in the water, make the one for the middle. Oh, I love this. I'm going to make more of Robin's, quilts. And I know that you have many other quilts that you've designed in the past that encompass many mariner's compass within the quilt. So, there's the challenge. Once you learn the technique and you know how to do it, you can, just keep building on that skill. But this is a great kit, to introduce yourself to that. Love how you did those wedges. I mean, that's great. Very simplified, and it creates a great design as it's sewn together. And Adrienne's fabrics are gorgeous. So between all of these techniques, it's like the perfect storm, Robin.
Oh, good. Well, good. Well, I'm really excited about getting the fabrics and getting these kits out there to people.
Yes. So again, if you're interested, reach out to your local quilt shop. If you're a quilt shop, you got to reach out to your rep. Let them know that you want to order. The cutoff to order is May 15th. So that's right around the corner. So please, reach out, let them know. And this collection, well, the kit and the collection ships in October of this year. So this will be a great project. You could be building up towards, the holidays. If you want to make this for somebody for the holidays, it'll be delivering just in time for you to add that on to your long list of things to do. But it's a great project. I'd encourage everyone to get involved with it. What else do we need to talk about? Are we talking about a giveaway?
I just like to say something really quick, because I didn't say in the beginning, is I don't know if Adrienne's watching, but I want to give her a huge shout out and just tell her how much of an admirer I am of her work. And it's been really fun to work with her fabrics.
Oh, you're sweet, Robin. Her fabrics are amazing. And we'll show the fabrics again right before we sign off here. In closing, Sarah's going to go down all the fabrics to show you all again. But you're right, Robin. I mean, this collection is so nice because, well, here, I'll switch it over to and don't let me forget to do the giveaway. Hold on. All right, so Sarah's just going to show us the fabrics one more time. Again, these are strike offs. This is what it looks like for us right before we go into production. So there's small pieces of fabric that our design team has approved and said, yes, these look great. We're gonna hit the print button. We're gonna make some fabric. So that's what Sarah's showing you. Again, what's so nice about this collection is the tone on tone. Yeah, there's so much movement within each piece. Adrienne does a beautiful job designing these. The design elements themselves, plus the color that she adds and how they all coordinate together. They all play together. So many different reasons to, try this fabric. If you haven't before, this is their third collection with FreeSpirit. Definitely, get out there, jump in, try this project. We want you to buy the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. And, these fabrics are beautiful. Add them to your stash because they'll definitely be fabrics that you can reach to in the future. You can go back and forth and touch them all. Sarah, you're doing a great job showing us all these beautiful fabrics. How could we not want to buy them? So about the giveaway. So we don't have this fabric, so we can't give this away yet. Like we mentioned, it's not shipping until October, and they haven't hit that print button yet, but they're going to very soon. We would like to know of Robin's ruler. For those of you that have the ruler, do you like the skinny ruler or do you like the fat ruler? Which one do you prefer? And we are going to ship you some solid fabrics that you can be practicing with your rulers. And if you don't have a ruler, reach out to Robin, get a ruler and start practicing. So you have plenty of time before this kit, ships, that you could start practicing and getting ready. And like Robin said, she's going to be offering classes. So you sign up at Robin's website and, get signed up, get yourself ready. And I think this will be a great and a very fun project. I think that's it. Robin, is there anything else that we didn't touch on that we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it.
Yeah, well, you did a beautiful presentation, so thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
love how organized you are. And I love that little 1-minute video. That was perfect.
Yeah, that helps the most, I think, for people to kind of see it from beginning to end quickly.
Yes, it was great. Thank you. And thank you, Sarah. You're doing a great job on the camera. So again, if you're interested in getting some FreeSpirit solid fabrics, oh yeah, Robin and Sarah's going to show you the quilt one more time. We want to know, do you like the skinny or the fat ruler? And here we are closing out on the Geo-Gyre Quilt Kit. There's the quilt in all its glory. It's beautiful. Robin, we thank you very, very much from FreeSpirit Fabrics. You are a wonderful collaborator with us. You do gorgeous quilts, and I'm excited about this one, and I hope everyone out there that has tuned in today is as well. So thank you, everyone. We will see you next week for another Inspired By. And thank you, Robin, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.